there is one player in camp for the Yankees who has been getting more attention than any other player, and that player is Masahiro Tanaka. He has Japanese reporters and American reporters following him everywhere he goes. And Bob, this morning I thought it was very interesting. 8:45 a.m. he's throwing a live BP session. I counted, there are about 75 reporters watching a live BP session. That doesn't normally happen, but he was cool throughout it. I think his demeanor has been very impressive. He's very deliberate. What have you thought of what you've seen out of him?
Well, first of all, personality-wise, great guy. Really doesn't seem overwhelmed about this. And we talked about this on the other show. Compare Tanaka, his reaction, his immediate reaction to New York, to Randy Johnson's, who probably thought he landed on Mars the first time he came to a press conference in the Bronx. It just did not belong here. I get the feeling Tanaka really likes it here. He wanted to be here. He knows what's in store. He knows what's expected of him. And so far, he's delivered. He's got great stuff. I mean, he's got a tremendous delivery. He's got an extreme drop and drive action towards the plate, which American pitchers don't really do anymore. The philosophy now is for American pitchers is tall and fall, to create a downhill angle trajectory to make hitters really upset their plane of vision. Tanaka is drop and drive, go right at the hitter, and his stuff plays really well down in the strike zone. I mean, that splitter I really think is going to be a legitimate out pitch.
Can we look at the pitches that he's been throwing? Austin Romine said on our airwaves the other day, one of the splitters that came in, he had to turn around to Brian McCann and say, what was that? And Scott Sizemore today faced him. He said the curveball looked very sharp. He said the splitter was nasty. And then Cervelli, who caught him, said, whereas Kuroda's splitter has the late break, Tanaka's splitter also has a little side-to-side movement. How anxious or eager are you to see what this guy can do with that splitter?
Yeah, extremely anxious. I mean, normally spring training, especially for a veteran team, it's more about getting ready. But I think in this Yankees camp, when you combine Tanaka, Jeter, and Teixeira for different reasons, there are three very important aspects that you want to see from this camp.
Bob, we've seen other Japanese players come over, and there is an adjustment period. They have to get acclimated. You wrote a story in the Bergen Record about some of that acclimation period for Tanaka. How's it going for him so far?
Slowly. I think he's lucky that he has such a great personality and is not overwhelmed by it. I mean, he's got his family here. But let's face it, he has no English. I mean, he's pretty much stuck at hello. That's all he's got. Plus, he's got everything else in front of him. He's got to learn major league hitters. He's got to learn his teammates. So I think mastering the English language is probably third on his to-do list. But it's going to take some time. I had a chance to talk to Kuroda about it. I talked to Hideki Matsui about it. I mean, for Japanese players, English is a real challenge. Kuroda said he's been here since 2008. He says, I'm not an intelligent guy. I still haven't figured out English. He said, I'm not bright. Matsui's been here for 10 years. He had a 10-year career in the big leagues, and he still needs a translator to do interviews. He said it's really, really hard, but it's important that you try. You've got to show your American teammates that you're trying, because they'll respect that. And I think Tanaka's aware of that.
And within the column that Bob wrote, he had some quotes from Larry Rothschild, and I think that this is important. You don't have to learn how to read Shakespeare, but you do have to know those baseball phrases. And Ken, I think that's what's important for the Yankees. Be able to give him some advice during the game, one or two word phrases that might get him over the hump if he's having some issues.
Yeah, there are so many adjustments for these Japanese players. Culturally, the baseball, especially for a pitcher, going once every 5 days as opposed to every 7. And here's another one. Even when, as Bob wrote in his column, the interpreter can go out there to the mound, but obviously you need to make some points very efficiently. So it is another burden for him to overcome.
And Brian McCann said the other day that that process is coming, that it's early, but he feels that the communication won't be an issue. Cervelli had a funny line today. He said that Tanaka throws so many pitches that he's going to need an extra finger, that he doesn't have enough fingers behind there. But I do think that the way that he is approaching this camp, Bob, even though it's only been about a week now, I've seen Tanaka grow more and more comfortable day by day. Have you noticed that?
I have. He tries. He's trying very hard. I mean, if you take somebody at the other end of the spectrum, like Ichiro Suzuki, who's kind of like this very eccentric type of loner, he doesn't interact very much. It's just who he is. However, despite the language gap, wants to be friends with everybody. He's just a good guy, and he's not embarrassed that he can't speak English. He'll say hello to anybody, even though the conversation ends right there.
Ken, I feel like the segment wouldn't be complete if I didn't ask you for a prediction. So I want to know, seriously, though, what do you think the Yankees can expect from Tanaka this year?
Well, we all know Brian Cashman made the now legendary #3 starter comment. I think #2 starter is a realistic expectation, but I do think he'll experience the same transition difficulties that most Japanese pitchers have experienced.